Sup guys, how's it going? Welcome to this Gamertech video. In this video, what I'm going to be doing is opening this box which I received from Aquatuning, so thank you very much. I'm not going to be reviewing anything in this video, it's simply going to be what's inside this box and what I am going to do with it. So without further ado, let's just get inside and see what it is. The coveted Aquatuning gummy bears, but the reason why we are all here is this. This is the Alphacool and complete water cooling set. It is the 240ml radiator version of it. It has everything you need in order to start water cooling. You've got your radiator in there, you've got your reservoir, you've got your pump, you've got your fluid, you've got your tubes, you've got everything you need. Connectors, the lot. Let's start having a play. There are so many goodies inside this. Now, as you may know, I actually haven't water cooled a computer as of yet. However, now I have got this bad boy, that is about to change. I will be using this to water cool my current rig, and I am excited. That's it, the box is now finally empty. So what have we got? Let's go through them one by one. I think first of all we shall start off with the reservoir. It's a dual 5.25 bay reservoir, which means it slips in snugly where your optical drives are and takes up 2 bays. It takes a Lang D5 pump right in the back there, so it means the pump and the reservoir all connects together and it's one piece. Also in the box we get included Allen screws and an Allen key itself, so if we do need to take this apart for maintenance, we can do. Quite nicely, which I like about this one, is it has a fill port on the front, so all you need to do is unscrew that, slide it out, and you can pour your fluid straight in the top. And also it's a nice clear design on the front along with a measurement bar to let you know how much fluid is in the system. So you've got your minimum bar here and then your 100% maximum at the top. So if at any point you see the water level drop below the minimum amount, you know you need to top it up. And also when you're filling it with fluid the first time round, you know it needs to be above that minimum mark. My first thoughts upon seeing this is it looks very strong and sturdy. It doesn't twist if I try to twist it, which is quite a good thing. It looks like it's very sealed up, which is quite cool. And I'm actually looking forward to getting the motor positioned in there because I want to see what it's going to look like all together as one piece. So that there is the reservoir. On to the next bit. It seems sensible to have a look at the pump next, as that's what's going to connect to there and make it all one big beautiful piece. And that is here. It is the VPP 655 single pump by Alphacooling. We do have a variable speed on the back of it. It's got a 4-pin Molex connector, however it only used 2 pins, so I suppose that's because all the variable speed stuff is done on the motor itself. And it's also in quite an accessible location, so you can just use a flat-headed screwdriver and adjust that in the future if you need to. Also quite handily, it comes with this sealer ring jobby. So if the one in the reservoir kind of dies a death after a while, then I can replace it with this, which will mean no leaks, which is very important in a water cooling system. And that's pretty much the pump done and dusted, so let's pop this back in the box and move on to something else. Next thing is going to be what we're going to be filling the reservoir with, and that is going to be our fluid. This is our fluid. It's just a plain clear see-through fluid, nothing fancy, but you can get dyes for it. So if you did want to make it a bit snazzy, make it red, yellow, green, blue, you can get dyes for standard fluid and yeah, pop that in your system to make it a bit more colourful. I think for now, I'm definitely just going to stick with the plain fluid that is included in here. Maybe look at changing it up later on, but for now, clear will do me fine. Next thing, what is the fluid going to be flowing through? That is correct, tubing. Let's have a look at the tubing. So this is the tubes that come with it. There is a decent amount of length. Oh no, that's plenty of length. Oh, it's got that new plastic smell. I really can't wait to get this set up in my system. I can't wait to see the fluid flowing through these tubes. Hopefully not onto my PC components. If it stays in the tubes, then that will be lovely. Next thing, how are the tubes going to connect to each other? That's right, the connectors. And we've got a lovely bag of them here. These are 10mm compression fittings. They are black and they do look nice. You get 6 included in total, which makes sense because you'd have 2 on the rad, 2 on the res, and 2 on the CPU. Now that's those little bits out of the way, let's move on to the next bit. The whole reason we've got water cooling here is to keep components cool. I know that's kind of stupid, point obvious thing to make, but that is the reason why. So the next thing we've got is the CPU block. Now I'm going to be using this to cool my processor as opposed to my graphics card. I may be introducing the graphics card into the loop later on, but for now anyway, it's just going to be for the CPU. Instructions. Definitely want to keep these available. Those are going to just sit at the side. Ooh, that looks nice. First of all, we've got a nice big bag of tools. We've got Allen keys, screws, springs, everything we could possibly need. Then we've got lots of different types of brackets. So depending on what type of CPU you've got the right bracket for it there. It'll fit AMD, Intel, a whole range of different CPUs, but make sure you do order the right kit. And this is the CPU block itself. This is what we'll be attaching to the processor and popping some thermal compound on the back of it. And this will take all of the heat away from it and start running it through those tubes. Now let's make sure we put everything back nice, safely, appropriately, because I don't want to lose anything. I would be so sad if I came to do this and I was missing like one screw, which prevented the entire build from getting done. Now when you're testing the loop, you don't want to have to boot your PC on all the time. What you're going to do is remove CPU and the motherboard power cables from the board, and what you're going to be doing is plugging this into the end. What this does, instead of you using a paper clip to short the power supply to make it work, this does it nice and safely for you with the cable just sticking in the two little bits. So you plug that into your power supply, you turn it on, and then it will run all the electric-y things. And that is a nice little extra. It's much better to give people this than just to have write down on a bit of paper saying use a paper clip like this, because that's probably not a recommended thing to do. Next on the agenda is going to be the fans, which we'll be using to cool the radiator. And quite nicely we get included two 120mm fans. Now with these ones here, I've got the blue version. I've actually reviewed fans similar to this in the past, and they came out quite well in regards to airflow and noise levels. So I'm looking forward to see how these perform with the radiator. You do just get two, so you'll be using them either push or pull config. I think I'm going to be using them in push config on my radiator. Apparently between the two, there isn't a huge amount of difference, maybe 1 or 2 degrees, and it kind of depends more on the person and what their personal preferences are when it comes to how you're mounting the fans. I personally prefer the idea of push because I feel like it's just a better means of airflow, if this signifies airflow. So that's how I'm going to be doing it in my PC. Now I know what you've been thinking, what about the radiator? Now I've been leaving this till last on purpose because it is impressive. This is the box for it. It is a 240mm radiator, but how deep is it? That's the big question. Well, this one, my friends, is 60mm deep. So what does that mean? Well, that means it is this thick. Now that is a beast. Look how thick that is. That is gorgeous. It's a beautiful, beautiful black color. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so, look, it's bigger than my head. It's bigger than my head. And it's thicker than an egg. It's like if you stood an egg up, it would definitely be taller than it. Oh, it's so thick. Like this, I'm gonna be able to overclock my CPU so much by using this radiator. Like, you've got no idea how much I'm gonna be able to overclock my CPU. I cannot wait. This really is the pièce de résistance of this whole kit, I believe. Like, everything else is really nice and looks pretty, but look at that, it's just a beast. It's massive, it's black, it's got lots of fins. It is gonna keep everything so cool, I know it. Like, even holding it now, it's got that cold metal feeling. It's quite nice. It bodes well for me, I think. And that is everything that comes in this big box of beautifulness. You have absolutely everything you need in order to get started with water cooling. From the res to the rad to the pump, everything is there. And it all seems quite self-explanatory in regards to how stuff goes together. Just kind of like plug it in and then put a compression fitting and then measure the tube and cut the tube and put the tube in and then pour some fluid in and just be careful, really. I will be watching the instructions very carefully when I'm doing it, and I will be doing a video of me putting it all together. So hopefully nothing goes wrong, because I don't want my computer to get underwater the bad way. Yeah. That would suck if it did. Anyway, for now, that is it, I'm afraid. Thank you very much for watching. Keep an eye out for the rest of the videos that are going to come from this set of beautiful water cooling apparatuses, and I will catch you in the next one. Stay fresh, guys. Apparatuses, sizes.